In this video, I'm going to talk about input hypothesis. So in this video, I'm going to talk about input hypothesis. This terminology is very common and very popular when you learn second language acquisition in linguistic fields. It's very important. So in this video, I'm going to talk about what the theory hypothesis is all about, and secondly, it has several criticisms. So I'm going to share with you what kind of criticism it got, and also will share with you my own thoughts about the criticism. And lastly, I will talk about my own approach, my own style to get inputs, reading and listening. So what is input hypothesis? This terminology is coined by American linguist Mr. Krashen, Stephen Krashen, and he argues that the input, in this case reading and listening, etc., is one of the important factors in order to acquire a language. Second language, foreign language, and he argues that in order to improve your target language, this formula I plus 1, I stands for input plus 1. 1 means one level higher than your current level in the target language. So what it means is you keep all you need to do in order to improve your target language is to continuously get inputs which are one level higher than your current level. Let's say you are learning Japanese or Georgian, I don't know. The input that you need in order to improve your Japanese, let's say in this case Japanese, should be a bit one level more difficult than your current Japanese level. It's kind of very, how to say, a normal thing, but this is very important because I think input is very necessary factor in order to acquire a language. But Mr. Krashen kind of created this hypothesis with very academic way, and it's although it has a lot of criticism at the beginning when he argued, when he published his input hypothesis, but this hypothesis is still very basis of kind of one of the important terminologies in second language acquisitions. But at the same time, input hypothesis gained a lot of criticism. One of the criticism is the vagueness of the formula I plus 1. For example, input plus one level higher than your current level. But one level higher than your current level, what does it mean? Can you actually define the one? It's very hard. So this is one of the criticism that he got, and I don't think we can define this formula and one level higher than your current level because it's too vague. So my own thought, my own opinion is that we can just leave the argument and discussion to linguists or those who kind of learn and study second language acquisition in academia. But it's very normal, it's very important. We can also agree with the hypothesis that the input is very important in order to acquire a language. So just leave the discussion to the specialists and we can just keep learning and keep getting inputs. But when it comes to inputs, what kind of inputs we need to have? In this case, inputs means reading and listening, and I'm going to just share with you how I read and what kind of reading and what kind of listening I do. in order to when I learn new languages. So reading, as for reading, I believe that language acquisition, language learning is like our body, and the grammar is our bones. It's like a basic foundation of our body, and it's like on the basis of our body. And the vocabularies and the words are the muscles. So I believe that without the grammars, it's very hard to improve the language level, from the foundation. So firstly, what I do in order to read, for reading, is like read a lot of sentences in the grammar book and trying to memorize the grammatical rules. And when you kind of learn new grammatical rules, at the same time you can kind of passively memorize and remember, subconsciously remember new vocabularies as well. And when you have enough amount of knowledge on grammatical rules, you can start increasing the amount of kind of build up your vocabularies, which is a muscle. So read a lot, first with grammar and then vocabularies at the same time. And for example, it's always better to read and have input in a fun way. So what I do in order to read a lot is like text with my friends. For example, in English, when I text, I can write. This is an output. But at the same time, when I receive the message from my friends with whom I text in English, I read the messages. It's fun in the communication. At the same time, it's very fun way and important approach to gain the inputs. And also, this is the beginner's level, I believe. Very daily conversation. And also, when you want to kind of improve the language more, the target language more, reading news or news articles is one of the good way. I think best ways to improve your language level, because when you read the news, for example in Japanese, you can not only read a lot of articles. It means that you will have information on what's going on in Japan, politically, economically, socially, etc., etc. New information. But at the same time, if you keep reading news, you will gain a lot of vocabularies as well, and some very important grammatical rules. So reading news is that's what I do every day to improve my languages. And as for listening, since we have, thanks to the modern technology, we have YouTube like this. So we can just watch a lot of things on YouTube videos in the target language. If you're learning Japanese, you can watch anime or Japanese movies. And also, when you work or when you do something, extra tasks or something, you can just turn on your podcast in Japanese or in your target language, and passively you can listen or you can hear the language. Subconsciously, you will have inputs in the target language as well. So, this is my own kind of personal approach to get the inputs in the target languages. But I think everyone has a different approach and style. So if you have any tips or your own way to gain inputs, please leave your advice in the commentary. And input, as I mentioned, input is very important. Just leave the discussion on the definition of I+1, but we need to have also inputs in order to improve the language. But at the same time, I believe that the input is not enough. We need to output, we need to write, and we need to speak in order to acquire the language in the four elements, the basis four elements: reading, writing, listening, and speaking. And in order to train writing and speaking, we need to output. So fortunately, we have output hypothesis as well. created a little bit later after input hypothesis. So in the next video, I'm going to talk about output hypothesis as well. So yeah, that's pretty much it for today, and I thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.